Well, it depends on my own personal space. Because honestly, I find my own personal space right before I'm falling asleep, and that's when I get the most creative. And I just start to create stuff in my head that I eventually, unfortunately, forget. But it's what kind of puts me to sleep. So it's kind of like counting sheep. So I will hum out melodies and riffs and whatnot and just enjoy that factor and dream about it being fully produced with a full band sound, and that's what works best for me. Sometimes I remember what I hummed out the night before, sometimes I don't, but I never stop doing what I do, and it brings me solace in doing that. Well, it's kind of a little bit of both. I mean, I sleep in my room and I come up with a lot of my ideas in my room, but there are some times at work, when I'm working more isolated, that I can just come up with a beat and just kind of, just me being a cook, another artistic part of my life, I guess. I mean, it's the closest I can come to music, just creating beautiful food for people, presentation wise and everything. But a lot of times I get melodies and rhythms and everything else in my head, and I just start to think about those, and it kind of speeds up my process as I'm doing it. But it's only when I'm in an it's just like unsocial kind of environment, when nobody's asking me questions, when everybody's just leaving me alone for a good amount of time, that I could just build up a groove and just go with that and just be like, oh, this is good, this is perfect.
Do you feel like you're in your own element?
Yes, definitely. There's a lot of determining factors nowadays. I mean, I have a brilliant partner in crime, you being one of them. The other, my fiance. She's super supportive, always supported the music that I did in the past, even though she's never gotten to see a show that we played, but she has expressed that she thoroughly enjoyed it. Me being drunken, out of tune, singing and belting to my baby girl, high pitch, whatever, maybe it wasn't out of tune, maybe it was just right, because it would make her smile at me and look up at me and close her eyes, and just like the inspiration, I mean, I have people, like, loving people all around me that inspire me every day. Her being one. I thought she hated my singing, honestly, but my fiance was just like, one day she's like, I like the way you sing this song, can you please do it karaoke? Like, it sounds so good. I was like, I'm usually smashed and like awful at doing this. She's like, just belt it out, bring it up, use your diaphragm. And I did it, and she's like, so good, and that is inspiring. And having you, dude, like, you are the most open-minded guy I've ever met, like, musically inclined, just like enjoy every aspect of music just like I do, even if it sounds like it's like a toilet flushing in Mozart playing in the background, with a bit of like a bang on like a garbage like top, just a ting 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 ting. It's like you find some artistic value in that, and that's what I appreciate. because I've always been the same way. People around that are like, hey, you did this and this, and like, you sound like this at one point in time, because I've been doing music since I was probably 14 years old, 33 now, so I've been in the game a long time. And if I could ever find a tape from the stuff that I first recorded, it probably sounded like a dying monkey. But there was a band that was big in the town that we were recording in and everything, and they were just like, this stuff, this is good. And it was just like, are you kidding me? Like, I listened to that recording over and over, and I'm probably my own worst critic, but they were just like, I can't believe this is coming from a bunch of kids, this is awesome, you know. And we just kept on with it, made a lot of good friends along the way, you know, and
so
that's
really,
kind of
like, built a communal aspect to the art that you were creating.
right. Just you know, every positive, like, inspirational, like, little clique that I was in, it just it did nothing but build up from there. And I've never stopped, and I've never given up, and I'm still not giving up, even though I'm at the age where I should. You know, I have a beautiful family, beautiful baby girl, but she's got to hear something from her dad, right? Like, something from her dad in current phase, you know. I would love to just record a few tracks, you know, even if it's the last thing that I do, just a few tracks just for, you know, the family and from the family that I've lost, you know, in these past years, just, you know, in dedication to everyone. And in dedication to you. Because you've been along my side this whole time, dude. And I appreciate that.
So it really is kind of a simple loop. Just getting his voice. I'm really good with having I really like to get pieces of the voice in there and have it somewhat make sense. You know, it's all the like feeling, all the James Brown hiss. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. I like to keep all that in there as part of the production. You know what I mean? I like having vocals as part of it. For the most part, for what I do, I need to have my stuff as far as like a work board and a workstation to actually get creative, because of the type of music I do is like sample-based recording and nothing melodic. So I have to, you know, obviously I have to hear something first. So you could say it starts there. I mean, I could be at the bar and I'm a jukebox junkie and hear something that someone else doesn't play in these digital jukeboxes. I can go and look onto the app and hear about a song I did, or listening to an old station, or just something I'm forced to, and just, you know, try and tag it in Spotify or on SoundHound or something like that. And it could start right there, but I mean, when it comes to actually working with my own project, it has to be like here. If I knew other people that had a similar setup, I've done that before. I've had other artists get pretty much a similar controller and work off the same DAW software as I do, and it's easy as it can be, as long as it's familiar software and instruments. Oh man, there's tons of stuff. I mean, display isn't always visual, so I'm always going to start with what I hear and stuff like that. And a lot of things, like the more recent thing that I did, as far as a project when I first was getting back into something, was Bobby Womack had passed last year, and I made it a point, I'm going to go through my favorite album of his, I'm going to find something and make it. You know, something that naturally happens, so it having that music available to me to be able to go to anytime I want and stuff like that. And then I also, during Christmas, they had mystery packs of butcher wrapped records that I had no clue were in them. So I use things like that as a tool to keep me doing stuff. But visual aids, I just have to be in a comfortable surrounding, just make it feel good. This is on video, so I have a collection of shit everywhere. So I have monkeys everywhere, which just inspires me. They all have a story. They all have a reason to look up. I have my Transformers. I can even sit here and turn him into a truck if I'm frustrated with a track. So there's lots of things. I got my hockey stuff around. I got art. I got stickers. I got stuff all around me that makes me feel comfortable. But you know, the layout's number one. But if it was just a boring desk, it would probably be boring music in my mind. So, you know, all this clutter, you know, keeps everything balanced when I go through stuff. Absolutely. So I have to have all my stuff over here. It's very strategically placed, and if something has to move on my desk, then it's just as important about what I'm going to do with this stuff. Because I'm going to be getting another module, so I'm going to have to figure out what to do with these guys. So.
Yep.
I don't want to put up shelves, because I don't want to mess up my acoustics or anything like that. I'm about to hang this Bob Marley thing up just to get a little sound dampening over here. Thinking about doing bass traps and things like that, but you know, I don't have that up first. I have this stuff up first. So.
Nice.
Weird connection with visuals.
I love it. Love it.
Just finding the right thing, and it's like.
Yeah.
I like having people around me by far more than by myself when it comes to inspiration. Like for me to get what I feel the best out of something and to get the ball rolling quicker, actually joint projects is like number one. Because, you know, when there's just something you feed off of somebody. Like if somebody's already working on something at my house, for example, if my friend comes over, he's looking at a record he doesn't have access to. That immediately motivates him and he wants to sit there and chop it. Maybe something I haven't heard. Most likely it's going to be something that, you know, I haven't heard, because it's not too often you find somebody did the same thing at the same time, different place or anything like that. So he'll be working on something and I'll get inspired, like, oh, I can already hear the drums as he's working on it. He's not necessarily doing that. So, you know, I jump in, it's like, oh, we're here to do this, and it just seems to go really, really smooth. And it seems like that away from music, the ball gets rolling really quick. But there are things, because I don't like to get frustrated around people, so you tend to move a lot faster. So I like to do a lot of detailed things, a lot of the nerdy, like the sound shaping is something I don't like to do around people. And my girlfriend, for example, doesn't like to be around when I'm sitting there with a half-second sound or a kick and I'm trying to shape it, you know, and stuff like that, and I'm throwing effects and I'm just messing with the EQ, and it's just a constant, you know, clicking sound or something like that. It's a lot better when I'm able to focus in on it and, you know, be able to shape the sound. And a lot of tedious work and stuff like that. So, but when it comes to the creative process, it's a lot more, you know, fun for me. It's almost like a band situation where you're jamming with somebody, maybe not at the same time, but you just go and you jump in and you add your little piece to it. So I really enjoy it. I wish there was more people available in these days to be able to work with. So, yeah.
Come with me, away from Flying High, on the trip through the. Come with me, away from Flying High, on the trip through
That was good. That's good.
Going back, it started in my room back home in San Francisco. I was living with my mom, my grandma, and we just kind of had this room where I had recorded my music and produced it, but I also had another place where I had wrote my, where I started writing, and it was like a house, a burnt down house that was like 2 blocks away, and the stair steps were still there. So I kind of just sat there and started writing one day, and it just kind of turned into like my new writing spot. And eventually I started writing, I kind of branched out and started writing other places wherever the inspiration would hit. But the music stayed in my room. And then when I moved out here to San Jose, music, I made it wherever I had my computer. In this case, it was my dorm room. you know, looking back at it now, it was kind of crazy because like the walls were so thin, so like everyone can hear me, including like my neighbors, my roommates next door, and I'm just glad that I still went with it, you know, despite knowing people would hear it, because I was really self-conscious still.
Yeah.
And then I moved over to where I'm at now, and it's kind of funny what it turned into. But you know, I have my room where my computer is, and I actually don't record there too often. I'm recording a lot on my porch, just chilling out there, and I've gotten so in the habit of doing that I've been recording videos of me rapping, and I have my laptop in front of me. It's kind of primitive, really. It's I should have a better setup, but it's just how I got used to recording. Well, I'll start on my desk. I have a dog, because my astrological sign, my Chinese astrological sign is a dog. So I feel that, you know, sometimes I think of myself as just a work like a dog, you know, and just despite being tired and all these other things, like just keep going. Kind of like a sport mentality. It's almost like I've just transferred my wrestling mentality into my music. And with that said, I have a medal, my third place Western Catholic Athletic League medal, where I feel like I should have been either first or second. So like looking at this third place medal just pisses me off a lot, and so it like just inspires me to you know, that if I need inspiration, I'll look at that. And on my wall, I have you know, my hometown. I have a picture of the Golden Gate Bridge, and then I have a picture of a DJ in the middle, and then next to that is the Brooklyn Bridge. So it's kind of like you know, west to East Coast, and it's more of like we're inclusive. It's not like one side versus the other, how people think it is, maybe still, I don't know. And I also have a picture of a Yosemite concert that I had gone to with my friend who performs in a band named Green Machine, and there was also a Bob Marley wine. There was this artist at the Yosemite whole concert. It was just, you know, booths everywhere, people selling things, and this guy had done this artwork on these wine. They roll the wine on these wooden slates, I guess. I'm not sure what it is, but he recycled them, and he would do artwork on these wine-stained wood pieces. And this one had Bob Marley on it. It's a pretty famous picture, and you know, I was like, I gotta get that one. So I got that one. You know, I put it on my wall. So that's just like, you know, it's like looking at Bob Marley's like, that's what's up. You know, that's
like
cool.
he's always watching.
Yeah, you know, he's a good guy, so I don't mind that. You know, and like,
Nice.
What else do I have on my wall? I have the little necklaces that kind of like represent some like good times in my life.
So it's all stuff that you keep up that reflects your personality, your motivational drive, and
Yeah, every single piece on the wall has some type of meaning for me. It's not like, you know, just art on the wall and make it look cool, but I definitely want to add some more. I also have actually another one. It's called it says "It's Alive" in kind of like graffiti-like text, and it's from a studio called Empire 7 Studio, which is on Empire Street actually, right here in 7th. And they had a little display over here at the Hammer Theater when it was closed. And I went in there and I said, hey, what's up guys? Like, I've been at your studio actually. And so I just, you know, showing love and bought some merchandise. So that's another thing on the wall, and that's kind of like my feeling connected to San Jose, because I'm from San Francisco. So when I came out here, I didn't really feel like, I didn't really know anybody, so, but
yeah.
Yeah. I look at anywhere in the world, like, so I look at like, if I'm like in this room, I'll have different thoughts, like if I were in my room, you know, like I'm gonna be talking about different things, especially because I like to rap and sometimes even freestyle rap, like I'll talk about like the walls or something. So like there's different inspirations in different places. Independent labeling is on the rise for sure. Like I've done research papers last semester for my 100W class saying that you know, in the beginning, you know, big companies like UMG, VMG, or all these other big companies that own the music industry, they ran the entire industry, and like independent was only like 10%, but now it's like up to like 30, 40, so it's just moving. And you know, Chance the Rapper is a great example. What we're talking about now is kind of a shift into artists moving into more comfortable zones, like they can just work where they want to work, and it allows them to express themselves in ways that we just couldn't express ourselves before, because before it probably was forced a lot of times, and that doesn't make good music, although they you know, top 40 says otherwise, right? But with all of this said, the internet is allowing for this to happen. You know, the internet is allowing for people that have great voices and people that have great minds express those traits without a deal, you know, without a record deal. And you see people coming out from all areas of the world now because of that. And you know, I talked to one of my friends at work, and he said the radio's on its way out. You know, even cars that are bought today are just it's like internet radio or something, but it's not like traditional radio, because it's like we all know now like what the radio's all about. There's so much more music out there than what we've been told, and it's almost like censorship in a sense.
Knowing the world's cold, but knowing we can make it warm. There's no such thing as myself after I read The Power of Now. All we have is the moment and each other. Conscious we've been bestowed. It lies right there under your nose.